Today, I want to talk about swap energy and my interview with Kevin, which we've done in December 2023. Since then, Swap Energy went on to raise 33 million investment round, expanded to 1,400 swapping stations, and have more than 23,000 motorbikes as well as 35,000 batteries on the roads. Also, they upgraded their swapping stations from 3 batteries to 8 batteries. Swap Energy is a good testament of how business and impact can go hand in hand if done properly. Another thing that I realized is that while I was doing these conversations on Zoom call with the entrepreneurs and WSA winners that I've in most cases never met before, the best parts tend to come out towards the end of it. With Kevin, it was no different. He shared some invaluable advice to entrepreneurs towards the end of the conversation, and I was ready to wrap up. So stick around, you might learn a thing or two from an entrepreneur who is upgrading two-wheeler industry in Indonesia.
So in my background, I'm studying in China also, and then I'm using electric motorcycles. So when I do charging in parking lot, we get the problems when another person come in and unplug my charger. So it's like a fighting for the plugs. And then I go downstairs and want to ride to the school, and then there's no batteries. So I need to walk. Thinking about how I solve this problem. Why? Because it's convenient. Because our public transportation is not good. The earning per day is around $20, and then the cost of oil is around plus minus $6 to $7 per day. So they only can take home is around $10 because $3 they need to eat. But using our motorbikes, the cost saving around a half, so they can take around more $3. In July, our server go down one day and all people demo in 1 hour service center. I think around 200 people. We just learn by doing. I think I already paid tuition fee about this learning. If you're not failing, you're not doing it.
Kevin, so good to talk to you. And I'm super eager to hear the founding story of Swap Energy. What were the influences and what led you to start Swap Energy?
We have another co-founder. So me and another co-founders having met in 2019. So my another co-founders is a business of power bank rental machines. So they're renting a power bank in China because his background is selling spare parts for mobile phone. So it's like a batteries, chargers, power bank, and then they develop a new business models because in China selling the power bank or chargers is very hard. Just thinking a new business model, just rental the power bank. So they put the big, I think, stations for the power bank rental machines. So all people just scan and then they can take their power bank. So from that idea is thinking about how these batteries can work also in Indonesia. So they bring to Indonesia power bank rental machines, and then thinking about another, I think, that can use this kind of swapping or renting the batteries. So thinking just see these two-wheelers in Indonesia. I think we are the second largest market for two-wheelers in the world. First is India. And then we just know electric vehicles is the future or now. So what we saw how we can make this electric vehicle works in Indonesia because we still use it like gasolines. So for that moment, I think 2018, we are seeing another countries using this battery swapping stations, swapping method called Gogoro in Taiwan. And then, we think this can work also in Indonesia. So she met me and then kickstart this project. So in my background, I'm studying in China also, and then I'm using electric motorcycles also in China, but for only from the houses to the schools. So it's very small, like a e-scooters go and back and forth to house to schools. So from that time, I just thinking this also can work in Indonesia. But we have a problems. One is when I using these electric vehicles, electric motorcycles, I go schools and then I don't know how to charge. So I got back home and then I need to charge in parking lot. So when I do charging in parking lot, we get the problems where another person unplug my charger. So it's like a fighting for the plugs. And then just thinking, oh, where I go downstairs and then I want to ride to the school and then there's no batteries. So I need to walk. Because a human thinking about, oh, how will I solve this problem? I just push my moped into the house and then I charge at home. And then when I charge at home, I think it's very convenient. I think very convenient. And then I think 2008 at that time, because in 2008 there is no battery, the lithium ion, still all lead acid. And this lead acid, there is no kind of the PMS, all the things. I think take you around 5 hours plus minus or 4 to 5 hours, because at that time battery is 1 kilowatt or 1.2 kilowatt, and then the charges only 400 watt, that you need to have 3 hours or 4 hours to charge. But at that time is when I just charging at home, I do another things, do chores, cooking, and then all the things. So I not practically setting up, oh, this 3 hour I need to unplug. So I just charge. And then another houses explode because of a charge. And then explode one apartment, blow a one apartment. And then government ban that if we charge at home. So we need to come back again to the parking lot. And then because the parking lot is so small, and then they're setting up one place is outside, not the parking lot, but outside, and then they have charger, all the things like inside that. But along the way, maybe battery lithium ion also coming in, and then we think it's enough to go from houses to schools or the work, just only maybe 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. So it's okay. But when I come back to Indonesia, we seeing their behavior is different. Behavior in Indonesia, most likely these motorcycles is their transportations. It's their daily transportations, or people using these two-wheelers. Why? Because it's convenient. Because our public transportations is not good also. So all people using these two-wheelers lah. And then these two-wheelers are picking up. I think right now we already have around 130 million units on the road. And then Indonesia also selling 6 to 6.5 million units per year. So what we think is this is the big market that maybe four-wheelers cannot work in Indonesia for the electric vehicles, still too far. Maybe two-wheelers can work in the first time. Like in China, I think back then, 2010, I think, all people using these electric vehicles, electric motorcycles, electric bicycles to use for transportations. And seeing this Indonesians' behavior already educate for this ICE combustion engine. And they every day go to the gas station, filling up their gas, so queuing, all the things. And then the second thing is they're driving kilometers. The mileage is around 40 to 60, because all people living outside Jakarta using two-wheelers. Inside Jakarta, they already rich, so they use four-wheelers. But outside Jakarta, using two-wheelers to go to work, go to all the things lah. So one trip is 20 kilometers plus minus, come back again 20 kilometers. And then because of that, driving time also a lot, one hour, because Jakarta is very traffic. If let's say the 5 p.m. or 8 a.m. at that time, so they need to take around 1 hours, and then go back around 2 hours. But we think how we can solve these problems using electric motorcycles, because it's very compact. One battery can only go to for 50 kilometers, maybe less than 50 kilometers, maybe 40 to 45 per one batteries. So Well, I think still not enough. One motorcycles, 110cc, 125cc, as having a 3 liters that can go around 100 kilometers. So if let's say I put two batteries, and then the price not affordable anymore. And then if let's say I using a fast charger, using a fast charging, if in Indonesia maybe it's different with the other countries, Southeast Asia countries houses the electricity only 450 watt or 900 watt or 1300. If let's say they have thing these chargers 400 watts, and then they cannot use any electrics, barely anything. So that's why all the like hair dryers, refrigerator, all 400 watts. So what we think double the batteries cannot work. Fast charging cannot work. Maybe swap batteries can work. And then we seeing also these charging infrastructures also doesn't have in Indonesia because there's no ecosystems. And then maybe government still not push these things at that time. And then the other thing is the charging time that we know is 4 hours to 5 hours. And then the other thing is battery replacement cost. Is if let's say you buy a cars, and then after 2 years or 5 years, you can sell these cars to secondary market. But for the electric vehicles, it's different. After 2 years or 3 years, and then you need to buy new batteries, like your phone. After you use 2 years, maybe in the first time you need to charge your battery once a day. Maybe after 1 year or 2 years, you need to charge your phone 3 times a day. So you need to buy a new batteries. So this behavior also, the customer cannot accept it because this ice combustion, there's no kind of testing. So that's why I think the swapping method that uses only swapping, and then the batteries is owned by us. So we manage the batteries. So eliminate all this kind of battery replacement costs, the charging time, and then more cheaper than because the electricity is far more cheaper than gasoline. So that's why people want to change from electric motorcycles. Cheaper, faster, and then convenient. I think that will be attract all people.
Well, thanks so much for sharing such a detailed insight into the local context. Because, people who have never been to Indonesia or China, we live in a completely different world. So understanding those elements is super interesting for the outsiders. But let's go back to the beginning. So you met your co-founder, and of course, from here, there till today, you had a lot of ground to cover. Can you go back to when it started and walk us through that founding journey and how it all has been so far?
In 2019, in 2018 we do market research, and then 2019 we met again, and then we kickstart. And then from that moment, we just need to find because our experience in batteries and swapping stations, so we have this kind of things. In the first time, we design the batteries, we do 3D printing, and then we make a mock up for our swapping stations. Also bring to Indonesia and then pitch to another investors, and then also pitching to another OIM. So we want to sell to, we can say, another motorcycle brand using our swapping systems, but we got rejected 3 months. I think we knock on door all the things. There is no one interest because they think as this is a new system that will be affected their brands if let's say the shopping not works, all the things. In 2020, we launched our electric motorcycle brand to convince all people this can work. So in 2020, we find one motorbikes to kickstart the project using our swap, and then convince people to use that because we are not motorcycle people background. There's no experience, so we just find in China, and then we design all the main components, and then launched in Indonesia in 2021 because 2020 is COVID at that time. COVID makes us slow and then close in, I think 2020 a whole year. And then we just kickstart in 2021. We launched around at that time is 50 swapping stations. 50 swapping stations putting across Jakarta. And then we just marketing and then we just build in the malls. So we want to introduce all this thing like with EV event. But all people just asking us, oh, okay, it's good. And then no one want to buy because the thing is seeing our shopping station, there is no near from their home. So they doesn't want to buy this. So at that time, 50 is not enough. So we scale up to 300. We just because our experience from the power bank rental machines that all people thinking as many locations in the first time is good, better than one locations many batteries. So we need to cover all the things. So give them the convenient, give them the easy to access of energy. So that's why we need to put 300 swapping stations. So in the first time we using a 3 slot, a small swapping stations, and then after a certain period we built a new swapping stations of 8 slot swap stations because we have bad experience of big stations in the first time. If let's say you are putting the power bank rental machines in the malls only in the main lobby, and then all people thinking if let's say I need to return back, I need to go to main lobby. So all people seeing this having a power bank rental machines. So we can say every F&B area have this kind of power bank rental machines. So easy to bring also. If let's say you are sales, so you just a small box and then go get and put and then plug. It's very easy. So these 3 slot stations also is only a 2 person can bring up and then just plug and then online and then you can swap the batteries. So that's what we thinking to develop the market. 2021 and then from we are selling 300 motorcycles and then 2022 we also scale to 700 swapping stations at that time. So we are selling from 300 to 3000. And then right now we scale to 1400 swapping stations. And then we are become the largest of swapping station in Southeast Asia. And then we are selling around right now I think 18,000 motorcycles already. So we are aiming to sell more next year. We want to put another 5,000 swapping stations. We have target to scale these electric motorcycles because Indonesia right now having a subsidies per one motorcycle is $500 for subsidies. So we are selling around 1,200 per motorbikes compared to ICE combustion engines is also around 1,200. So we got subsidies 500. So we are selling around 700 plus minus. So much cheaper than ICE combustion engine. So our swapping stations, we are putting at like convenience store, and then gas stations, and then F&B area, and then the service center of two-wheelers, and then our dealers. So right now we also have 200 dealers selling our motorbikes, and then we are partnering with, we can say, Southeast Asia biggest ride-hailing company called Grab. Grab like Uber in US and Europe is Grab is a ride-hailing two-wheelers. So we partner with them, and then they are using our shopping stations, also our motorcycles also. And then we also partner with logistics like Lazada. And then the gas station, what we partner is PP, and then Indonesia oil and gas, Pertamina, and then Shell. These two things lah. And then convenience store, maybe Indonesian convenience store, the names Alfamart, and then Circle K, like 7-Eleven, something like that. So we are putting in front their shops.
Can your battery be in any motorcycle or just your motorcycle?
Right now, only my motorcycles, and then we already partner with two brands in Indonesia.
Okay, so you're a new entrant in the market and you're offering something completely new to the market, so kind of changing behavior. Can you tell me how did you get into the partnerships with such a huge brands from such an early stage? Because that to me sounds like pretty much a big of achievement and quite a difficult thing to do for a new entrant in the market.
Because I got connections from my last angel investors to introduce to these big corporations. So I got introduced, and then in the first time, we cannot negotiate all the things. What I can do is pay for the place. So I just pay for the place per monthly basis. I just pay. And then from the start, this Alphamart, I just put 200. So all people just seeing, wow, this is having a shopping station. And then I can nego to another second brand like Circle K. So if let's say Alphamart in the first time, I need to pay per month $50. And then Circle K, $20. And then another gas station free. And then all the something like that. I can nego from 50, 25, 10, and then free.
Nice.
Free is a sharing profit game lah, something like that. So I think I can show you how we put and then how it's look like
Yep.
the swapping stations. So this is our three stop stations. This is our convenience store. Looks like. So we put in front their shops and then we just put the batteries, the used batteries, and then they will pop up the new batteries. So there is a lights. They need to read the batteries first, and then after that the lights blinking, and then you can take out the batteries. That is our first three stop batteries. This is our 8 slot stations, much more bigger. So we need to put the batteries into our battery reader. Why we are using this method? Because we know all people doesn't bring their food. So we need to make them, all the machines will help them to communicate. So these batteries, if let's say these batteries put to another motorcycles, another motorcycle cannot work. So it's like a handshake program. And then these batteries, they put this reader first. They need to read, oh, this battery is ours. And then the doors will open. And then we need to put the batteries. And then we can take out the new batteries. So all the thing is seamless connections. So we have an app that mentioning all swapping stations lah. So I can show you the second. So this is our app.
It feels like and sounds that it's a very heavy upfront investment that you had to make to develop all the swapping stations and also the motorcycles. Did you have a really serious backing from investors from the beginning?
In the first time we bootstrapping.
Wow. What about the manufacturing?
We outsource the manufacturing. All the things is outsourced. So this is our swapping stations. So all the dots that one location having 2 batteries, 5 batteries, 3 batteries, something like that.
That is definitely a lot.
Still not enough. I can say still not enough because our driver is, I think, hardcore using these motorcycles. They are typically for, I can say, all people only using for only transportations, normal transportation, 40 to 60 kilometers. But for the healing drivers is 150 plus minus. So it's like a triple. So they are swapping. If normal people's is once a day, but these ride hailing drivers 3 to 4 times a day.
It sounds like you are operating a very complex business with a lot of different parts to it, right? The manufacturing, the engineering, and the tech, also the partnerships, and the private sector, of course. And what about the government? Are you in touch with the government? Can you tell me a bit about the government's position on all the electric vehicle market in Indonesia?
This business is very political business. With these motorcycles is too many person using it. So we need to keep updated with the government. So we need to having our good relations with the government. And then right now we having, I think next week will be announced we are become the standard of connectors. So we need to be battery standard to get a scale about this. Because right now, maybe we just invest a lot in infrastructures, what we build is very fast. Maybe right now we have 1,400, another competitors only have 300 or 100 swapping stations. So we need to scale much more faster, 5,000, 6,000. So I can cover all the Indonesians lah, big cities. If let's say I put 10,000, this 10,000 number is coming from this convenience store, put 10,000 across Indonesia. I think if let's say we can have these 10,000 locations, we can win this game. Because this game is like a monopoly game. One is a monopoly game. And then another thing is very political game. And then it's hard to enter. This business is very hard to enter because, like you say, in the first time we think it's very easy. Oh, we just build our batteries and then swapping station. But after certain numbers, wow, it's very hard to do that because I need to communicate from swapping stations, batteries, and motorcycles. These three things I need to combine together and then work together smoothly. It's very hard to do.
And so, in terms of your team, how big is your team? How many people do you have in technical engineering or people actually working on the ground with business development? Also, people working with advertising to the potential buyers of the motorbikes. Yeah, can you share more about your team behind all of this hard thing to do?
Right now we have operation team and then all operation team in Indonesia. We have around 150, 160, I think, right now, persons. And then we have a company also, a team in China to develop all the products around, right now, I think around 40 people, roughly around 200 people in this company.
Okay, that sounds like it's normal for the complexity of your company. What about your China operation? Did you have it from the beginning, or were you working with different partners and finding who will do the product for you and the motorcycles? Can you tell me more about the China's team role in what you do?
Our another founders having company in China. So because they develop these power bank and load machines, they should just switch another team. So we not outsourcing. We design all the battery swapping station or in house. Only the motorcycles we just buy from another companies. In the future, we just thinking about maybe in the first time only design the batteries, all the ITs, communication protocols with the swapping station batteries. In the next, we need to develop our main components by ourselves. So it's in electric vehicles, there is three main components. One is batteries, electric control unit, the ECU, and then the powertrain. So what we need to do is not developing the hardware, but we need to develop the firmware for this hardware. So we need to coding for this, all the things, batteries in BMS, and then the electric control unit, this need to be coding also need to be communicate smoothly with our batteries and our VCU, this vehicle control unit that this hardware communicates to our server from motorcycles. So all our devices is connected to the internet. So if let's say you buy our motorbikes, you can it's like a smartwatch. So you need to link first, then you connect it. After you connect it, and then you can see all the things about your motorcycles from the mileage, from the trips, patience, and then you can lock also remotely. So all these things that all communicate together, and then maybe right now we outsource some of them, but in the futures we need to develop by ourselves. So it's like developing main components, and then another OIM company can buy this package, this kit. We can say the kit, battery kit or motorcycles kit. And then maybe the design is different. It's okay, no problem. But this kit is enough to use our infrastructures.
And in terms of the Indonesian electric scooter market, or in general the scooter market, can you tell me about the numbers? How has it been, and is it changing? Is the market moving towards electric?
I think the adoptions 2019 At that time, it's less than, I think less than 1,000 at that time. And then 2021 is picking up. I think last I heard is 2022 is 30,000. So it's picking up all from 1,000, I think 1 to 2,000 to 5,000 and then 30,000. And then this year maybe is around 70 to 80,000. I think all the Indonesian market.
So it's really growing rapidly. Like the growth rate is insane. But compared to the 6 million scooters, there is still a huge room for growth, right? So, in this climate, are you planning to stick to selling your motorcycles in the future, or would you rather just partner with other motorcycle producers?
It's hard to answer that because right now we selling too much. I think right now it's 25 to 30% market share, our brand. I think we need to see after 2 years or 3 years, maybe big corporations want to buy this brand. It's okay. Maybe, I don't know. But right now, I think we still selling the motorbikes. We partner with the other brand making the motorcycles and then just put our name, like our design. And then because our business models, we have two companies. This Smooth Motor Indonesia is selling motorbikes, and then Swap Energy Indonesia is selling the energy. So Smooth Motor is selling the motorbikes with the after sales. So typically they are selling motorbikes itself and then battery membership fee. So battery membership fee? Because you every time you doing a swapping. So if let's say this battery is owned by you, I think you doesn't want to swap it. So membership is like you go to the gym and then you can use all the tools. And then after you buy the motorcycles and then you get the battery membership fee, battery membership, and then you need to pay the mileage. It's like you buying a phone is already included the start, and then you need to buy data package. It's like using your BTS, the telco BTS to get internet access or signals. So right now also we are doing that. So we are selling the mileage package. So if we're selling 100 kilometers, 250, and then 500 kilometers. Why we are doing that? Because all Indonesian people thinking about this. If let's say I pay per swaps, it's very difficult. How much percent I need to swap? 20%, 10%, 5%, we don't know. And then another thing is if let's say it's very traffic, very heavy using the battery swapping, and then when you go to the swap station, there is no 100% batteries, only 80% batteries. So you only use maybe 50%, 80% to 20%, and you need to swap again. So it's not user friendly. So we decided not to do that. And then another business model is monthly basis. Monthly basis also is hard to do in Indonesia because our mindset is like telcos. They are buying per week, per day, or 2 weeks, 10 days, something like that. And then their mindset of ICE combustion is filling the gas every day. So it's okay to filling a gas every day. That rather than you need to pay, if let's say per day is $3. But if let's say monthly payment, you need to pay maybe at least $50. It's hard to pay $50. If let's say you need to pay only $1, $2, it's okay because they are earning day by day. They're typically not saving the money, so just uses the money.
It sounds like you really put a lot of research and thought into the business model to really adapt to the culture. But at the beginning, you also mentioned that the biggest motivation behind why people choose electric vehicles is because it's cheaper than gasoline. And also, it becomes quicker, the swapping and everything. But what do you think is the biggest driver of the electric vehicle adoption in Indonesia? How is the human behavior changing and why in relation to what you do?
I think the main concerns right now is the government. The government right now, the reason why government want to move from ICE to is one is the subsidies because there are subsidies too hard in gasoline. So they are burning the money. So they need to find alternative about this gasoline. And then the second thing is the Indonesia is nickel-based countries, so they want to produce battery cells in Indonesia. That's why they need to push so hard about this EV. And then the third thing is the G20. So I think I can say all the countries want to commit is zero emissions, all the things to push. But I can say Indonesian people doesn't care about these zero emissions. For these two-wheelers people, only can say, oh, it's much more cheaper. Wow, I can do that because they're earning day by day. I need to eat day by day. It doesn't cost about these zero emissions. So what we think drive them to switch to EV is one is cheaper because of subsidies. Second thing, what I think is less maintenance, no oil, all the things. And then the third thing is no vibration. If let's say the motorcycle's eyes, they have a vibrations. So if let's say you drive 3 hours or 4 hours, it's very tired. I think you cannot feel anymore. There is no vibrations. There is no noise. So it's more happy to drive. So it's not tired. And if let's say what I still doesn't get this number, the number of driving time, but I believe that ice motorcycles they only can drive maybe around 5 hours, but this EV they can drive at least 10 hours because there are no vibration, no noise, all the things. It's very happy to do driving. I think from that perspective, but maybe our product still not 100% okay, still improving. We keep improving instead of product.
Yes, and sort of then planned consequence is also that there is less air pollution, which again will probably increase the driving time and help everybody to feel better just because of less air pollution, right? But who is subsidizing? Is it Indonesian government or are the subsidies coming from abroad?
Is Indonesian government. They suffer from subsidies for gasolines because they subsidies for EV only one time. But gasolines is already 10 to 20 years. They subsidies this EV $500 per one motorbike.
Nice. So it's good to hear that Indonesian government is really pushing the green energy and sustainability because the zero emissions win. Absolutely great to hear. But what about your typical customer profile? You mentioned that they are quick earners day by day, they need to eat. So I understand that most likely a lot of them are the hailing service drivers like Grab and maybe other services. Do you have other typical customers outside of these people who are using the scooters for work?
So we have two kind of customers. We can say the typical drivers driving around 150 plus is a ride-hailing driver. And then typically 70 to 80 kilometers is logistic driver. And then 40 to 60 kilometers is normal people that go to the work. Right now, we have the customers right now, what we have, the age is around 24 to 35, the age using our motorbikes. Why this is age? Because they are interested to having our app inside the more intelligence. The motorbikes is more intelligence. And then maybe, I don't know, but the wife, I think, love it because they can track this motorcycle going everywhere.
Oh, the wives and the tracking. We have the tools to do that now. That's so true. I didn't even think about it. Do you have any other funny stories like that? Is there anything that you can share about the hilarious part of running the swapping stations?
I think in the first time is because when I do selling in an event and then we just show all the things about these smart motorcycles can operate with our motorbikes and then all wives want to buy this. They want to track their husband go everywhere. Either that the funny things I think. And then the other I think just because our tagline, yeah, we can say the tagline is 9 seconds to stop and go. And then all people, there's I think one a guy using a stopwatch and then swap the batteries and then they are looking, is it a 9 seconds? Oh, it's very fast. Less than 9 seconds. I think all people in the first time in the first hour launch 2021. I don't know why. Oh, I think 2 to 3 people. They swap, I think per day is 10 times. I don't know why. And then we just looking in our backend. Why these people want to swap 10 times? They just use, I think in the first location, they swap 5 times. And then the second location, they swap 5 times. I don't know why. They just want to swap the batteries.
So maybe they were also doing stopwatch.
I don't know why. And then another funny thing is we have a lock mechanism. You can remotely lock the motorbikes. And then there is 2 people, I think, until today, every time they park the motorbikes, they need to lock using the app because they're already having this company, this I think mechanism, locking mechanism using a keys, but they still lock because this what we do. These features is if let's say you being stolen, you lock remotely. But right now they every time they park their motorcycles, they lock. Also, we get a problems right now. We get a problems of swapping stations because all people using this depend on this swapping station right now. All people depends on this. Our customers very depend on this. So they have a favorite swapping stations. So every time they looking this swapping stations, oh, these are charging the battery in charge or not charging. Why battery not charging? Something like that. They are complaining about this. And then they complain, can you put more batteries in this area? Can you put a swapping station in this location? Uh,
So your
it's very tough.
customer support team has to be very big as well, right?
We have, I think right now, every day I got call from Dragon. Every day.
And it will get even worse, right? There will be more people and there will be more drivers calling you.
Correct. Right now we have a bug from this our system. It's already our sub success rate is 99.99%. It's not enough. 99.99% is not enough. So I need to be 99.99999%. So per day, I think I have around 30,000 shops per day. I got complaint, I think not successful around 100 per day. It's very tough. 100 per day is very tough. So it's already 99.9%. If I scale to this only having our motorcycles around 18,000. If let's say I scale to 100,000, our complaint is around 5x. I think from 100 becomes 500. It's very tough. So we need to be more careful about developing these things.
But also, there's always a challenge and an opportunity. Maybe you can turn these diligent users, who always call you, into your supporters, who will get in touch and become ambassadors, who will help to solve the other people's problems.
I think this is love and hate. Sometimes they hate this. If let's say they having a problem, they hate this swapping. Why using a swapping every time having a problem, and then they love it. If let's say they doesn't complain anymore, said he doesn't love this product anymore. We love complaints because they love our products.
Makes so much sense. What is the most exciting for you in all of what you're doing?
I think exciting is got in our service center, and then they say to me, last time they are using ice motorcycles, the earning per day is around $20 per day. $20, and then the cost of oil is around $7 plus minus $6 to $7 per day. So they only can take home is around $10 because $3 they need to eat. But using our motorbikes, they cost saving around a half, so they can take around more $3. And then another things that excited last time, I think last month, because all people using this too much, buying a Midas 100 kilometers, 250 kilometers, and 500 kilometers. So I just thinking at that time, if let's say we do like a Disneyland, go to inside to Disneyland, we have a 1 day ticket. So I just launched my unlimited package per day. And then suddenly my sales of this unlimited package from 0 to 60% of my shares of these all packages. I think it takes around 1.5 months. It's become that 60%. So all people love it. using this unlimited package because they doesn't care anymore about kilometers. It's very convenient. So I think they love it so much. Right now, they want to request about that's per day, and then they want to have a 3 days. He can.
Nice. You actually see how it literally affects people's lives and actually allows them to earn more and to be happier.
I think is if let's say I do badly in products, or people will demo in front our showroom. We got hacked in July, so the server down, not hacked. I think push message too much because to our server, and our server down one day, and all people demo in front our service center. Wow, it's crazy. It's very crazy. It's very crazy. I think around 200 people. I think 200 people, and then that only 200 people. And then in this October, we got also system crash. So we get a system crash. So we because our people, I say our operator just click to upgrade one motorbikes, but they are upgrading 5,000 motorcycles. So that 5,000 motorcycle breakdown. So one click, all breakdown. So we need to recall all these 5,000. Oh my god.
Wow, I can't even imagine what it means. How did it go?
We recover around 1 week. I think 1 week plus. Wow, it's working. I think 24 hours at that time. We just recall using a car, using a car, and then take these motorcycles and then solve the motorcycles and go again. Wow, it's too crazy.
So then you have an army of 5,000 waiting outside of your showroom?
So they're not waiting outside our showroom because the motorcycle cannot work.
So yeah, they can't come to the showroom. Their motorcycles don't work. Oh, that's hilarious, really.
So what we think is we need to develop software more. I think more stable. Need to more stable. Cannot play anymore.
No, sounds like if the games are over, now you have to be serious. But is that your biggest challenge, or do you have any other challenges?
I think that challenge is one thing, and then another challenge is motorcycles because we doesn't having an experience, so we just learn by doing. So I think I already paid tuition fee about this, learning about motorcycles, learning about factories, learning about stations, all the things. So we learn a lot. Maybe we need to find another way to run smoothly.
I love the term. I paid a tuition fee. Yeah, by learning, by doing, that's really cool. It sounds like even though you're having these challenges, you're still having a lot of fun, right?
If let's say I stress is not really using about, we need to take a fun. Okay, just do it. Just do it. Just fix the mess up.
Fixing up the mess. That's all that we do at startups, right? It's just like there is no other way. You just have to fix up the mess. Otherwise, there is also no growth, really. So it's quite late. I have a couple of other questions. If you had a magic wand and you could change one thing that is related to what you do, what would that one thing be for you?
I think I doesn't want to change anything because that is our process to become bigger. Because if let's say I don't have this experience, I doesn't learn to grow. I doesn't know about these problems. If let's say I already having a problems in the first time, maybe my money already gone. My money, I'm using money too much. Also, if let's say I am not, we planning is our planning. If let's say we plans too good, I think maybe we not making these motorcycles. We only stick to the swapping stations and batteries, but the business cannot work. So because of the complicated things, so we go here, cannot break a wall, and then we go left, and we go right again, and then we go left again. I think it's like you driving the wave, lah, riding the wave. I doesn't know left or right. If let's say I go right, and then I need to go left. I think the beauty of doing a startups and then doing this very complicated things, these three minions is very hard to manage. I think we need to having a good team to build up. So we learn so much. I think after we fundraise, and then we can make another a bigger team, making more stable products. I think I doesn't want to change anything. I think it's better like this.
Nice. And this is not your first startup, right?
Correct. Correct. So I'm doing 3 startups, I think, like that, but all bankrupt. First startups, I'm doing a software for the advertising, so lock screen advertisement at that time. I think 2016. That back then, advertising is very hot topics. And then I do the Bitcoin, and then I do another thing is the hydroponics. So I built small machines that like a dosing pump, so they are managing the temperatures. And then if let's say the hydroponics, you need to be giving the eating for the vegetables, like they it control pH, ppm, and then temperatures, and then they can also automatically turn off, turn on, something like that. That we are building that for our hydroponics to manage. So we want to sell this device to all houses in Indonesia. But I think the hydroponics in 2018 still not pick up until today for Indonesia. Maybe in Europe or US is okay, but Indonesia cannot. Maybe another 5 years.
It feels like your startups are just growing more and more complex. You're just basically learning, failing, and then doing even more difficult things.
Doing again.
That's for sure. Doing again. And you're doing so much and you're doing such complex things. What would you recommend to startup founders, other entrepreneurs who might be struggling in their journey, lost, or, from your experience, what would you say to encourage the entrepreneurs at certain point in their journey?
Think if you're not failing, you're not doing it. Because you're not doing so hard, you never fail. I think all people should be fail. Maybe fail in the first time, maybe fail in the third time. You can success in the 10 times. I think if you never try, you doesn't know about this. I think all people is play safe, is afraid to being fail. I think failing is like a victory that you already gone level 1, you go to level 2. I think not game over. A life is very long, having a long time for a life. You doesn't game over. Maybe if let's say you are in age 30, is your level is 30, and then you become next year at 36, 31, 32, something like that. But trying is better than doing nothing. So I think we need to keep trying, keep, maybe there's no 100% product okay, 100% idea good idea. If right now maybe this business, maybe next year different business, it's okay to do that. I think business is business, but what I think is you need to be impact to another person's. Let's say I turn off this device, all people will demo. That will be impact all to all people. I think it should be we need to do this kind of impact to another person that can help, maybe mobility, the life, all the things.
So I have one last question, maybe. For you personally, climate versus giving opportunities to people, because you're doing both. You're solving the climate, but you're also helping individuals to take home more of their income. So, what is more important for you personally?
I think it's the first thing, because the climate, I cannot sell the climate, honestly to say, to them. So I need to help them, but not making this climate more painful. So what we need to do is these two things can combine together. But when I sell the products, I'm not selling the climate, and
Yeah.
I'm selling this kind of plus more convenient, more cheaper, all the things. I think that kind of, after we educate them, oh, this cheaper, blah blah blah, and then after that we educate them, oh, you are using this EV that can reduce the carbon, how many kilograms, all the things. Maybe step by step, because it's like a smartphone. Maybe last time it's Nokia, and then becomes BlackBerry, and then becomes iPhone, becomes smartphone. I think need to be step by step to educate them.
Awesome. I really absolutely enjoyed talking to you, but I understand that it's a Friday night, late for you.
It's okay. We are working 24 hours right now. That driver giving a call.
so, so no sleep, no nothing. Well, that's the commitment of a founder.
Yes, because this driver, they are leaving in 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. There's peak time. And then not at the traffic time also in 5 to 8 p.m. But there is two type of driver. One is morning driver, and then they have a late driver. So the late driver just picking up in 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. So we need to service this morning driver and night driver.
So are you now mainly in customer service, or do you manage to do other things in between all the driver calls?
My another co-founder is our CEO, and then I'm in charge on product. So why I still picking up the driver phone is I need to check whatever is my product is having a problem, and then I study the behavior of this driver. Why I need to launch this kind of package, or what kind of motorcycles they like, and then what kind of swapping stations they need to swaps, and which locations, all about customer experience. So what I'm in charge right now.
With 100 calls a day, you are so motivated and so happy because you're collecting the feedback from your product, which is actually driving you. Wow. I think that there is so much to learn for a lot of founders. Not only what you said before, but this motivation and the drive that you have towards your product, and really kind of laser focusing on the quality improvement.
We need to have determination to do startups. This is a long game. I think maybe the startups life, I think 30 years should be can survive these 20 years to 30 years because I seen all like a smartphone, all the things. Maybe right now is around 15 to 20 years. This business can survive. So I think this EV maybe can survive maybe another 30 years from now.
And then the transport will change completely somehow. That's what you're saying, right?
I think there is no driver anymore. So lean the motorbikes. So there is no taxi driver or the driver. There is no driver. But maybe that is 60 years, 60 years from now. Not, it's very far. Maybe I think from this two-wheelers, maybe we can move to four-wheelers step by step.
So you think that there will be a change from two-wheelers to four-wheelers?
Yes, it's hard to do that, but let's see.
Let's see. Kevin, thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation with so many insights about the Chinese and the Indonesian EV market, about your journey with Swap Energy and all the complexities that you're having to face. And of course, last but not least, all your advice to founders, and not only direct advice, but just that motivation and passion from what you're doing and how you're doing. I think this is very useful for everybody listening. And I hope to follow your journey for the next 20 or 30 years. With that, I invite you to learn from Kevin. The optimism, the grit, the approach to learning, and what it seems like an endless motivation and drive that pushes him and Swap Energy forward. Then we hear about companies like Swap Energy. Most usually, they have already made it, raising large rounds, generating significant profits. But we rarely hear the stories of founders working 24 hours to pick up calls from their customers at any time of the day. Well, now we know that between this interview and the release of the episode, Kevin's and the whole team's efforts has resulted in a significant investment, which keeps pushing them forward. On that note, next week I will be bringing you another story from the edge of impact, this time jumping continents to Africa, Uganda. The Miha, the founder of Gorilla Highlands, is fighting very different yet equally inspiring battles of inclusion, education, and impact. See you next week.